Howdy, folks. What is
What's
going
up?
on? Danny Boy, alongside Bill Corpus Crispy. We appreciate you. We thank you. And we love you. Thanks for joining us on this beautiful, well, not so beautiful outside, but
It is
uh,
freezing outside.
it's freezing and it's snowing over here. So, yeah, I think we get about a foot here in
You
Virginia.
got a foot of snow?
Yeah, that means I got a shovel. In order for my car to actually get out of here, and stuff.
Sucks.
I know, right? But you know what? Humbled because, I get to experience snow in the South. So it's you know,
Makes you feel at home, doesn't it, Reggie?
a little bit, a little bit. I don't miss the snow, by the way. I do not. Um,
You're probably moving down there thinking, woohoo, no more snow, no more cold. And then,
it's funny because my former boss, when I was at Channel 7, my former boss, um, he used to make fun of me and Nate Moser because we came from cold weather climates.
yeah,
So, and of course Virginia is not really known for, DC, Maryland, and Virginia really. They're not really known for, big time snowstorms and all that stuff. And then literally the second we all arrived from New York, the snow started coming and they're looking at us. They're basically blaming us for the snow coming. So, you know, it's incredible.
I think you're just not, I think because they're just not used to it there. Well, it's
Yeah.
not
Well,
snowing up here, it's just cold. And
exactly.
you know what it is? It's like with winter, and we'll get down to business in a bit, we promise. But it's like with winter, go from December to March. It's like December, winter, you don't mind because you got the holidays and everything is just, you know, you're excited. You're going to you're going to parties. Meeting up with family. You drive down your street. You see Christmas lights all over the place. But now the holidays are over. We get January through March winter, which is just bleak, depressing, cold. Because at least December winter, you got something to look forward. You got stuff to look forward to,
Right.
and like all the lights and all the festivities kind of takes the sting out of the cold, if you know what I mean. When when the clock changes from December to January, when the calendar goes from December to January, and all those lights and all the streets that were once decked out with lights are now dark.
Mhm.
It's just a reminder that okay, we are in January to March winter, which is now again bleak, cold, depressing.
Yeah. But the days get longer now, so
True. And we're now just sitting here counting the day, and we're just now sitting here counting the days till spring.
yeah. Spring, not so good time. Rains a lot.
Yeah, but what's worse, rain or snow?
Well, they're both can be bad. Snow, obviously. Snow's worse.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm gonna say snow because rain, unless it gets like really, really bad, because I've seen rain before, it's been really bad. At least rain, you could somewhat still function. You know what I mean?
right. Well, depending on the situation, obviously. Um,
Well, yeah, there's different situations, but rain, you could still somehow function.
yeah. Well, you don't have to shovel when it's raining.
Exactly.
For those of you in DC, Maryland, Virginia, please be careful when you're out there. Please be careful. And if you're shoveling, shovel in stages. Don't shovel everything right away. Though honestly, if you're in my where I am, I could probably shovel everything in once and then probably go out there do another shovel and then probably be good. So in any case, snow day in across the DC metro and crazy stuff.
And lift with your knees, not with your back.
Yep, exactly. And then a completely different story up in New York. Just a lot of chilly temperatures.
Yes. This is, unless I absolutely have to, this is not leaving my damn house season unless I absolutely need to.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I have to go in office every day, so
So,
I have no choice.
but
Um,
anyway, anyway, well, we got a lot to talk about today. We got the NFL regular season wraps up.
yep.
The NFL season wraps up today. And also we also got Black Monday.
Yep.
We're gonna talk about some Black Monday stuff. We're gonna preview the playoffs.
Hmm.
We won't make it picks till Friday, but we will tell you what we got. And we also have, maybe we'll do a quick preview of the CFP because they got Thursday, Friday this week.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's gonna be mostly football today, unless there's any other. I don't think there's really any other breaking news, is there?
I mean, football is dominating the headlines for sure. And we'll keep in touch on every other thing that's going on.
And
Um,
but I do know with NBA, we talked about the Jimmy Butler thing a little bit on Friday. He's
yeah,
suspended now for
he
seven
got
games.
he got suspended because of good conduct detrimental to the team. Yeah, that relationship is pretty sour in Miami. So you expect some form of trade or release or whatever the case is to happen at some point with that. Yeah, it's just hasn't really recovered since last season. So, um, look, this what happens. Jimmy Butler's always been, he's not a head case, but he's an interesting character. So, you know, in any case. Uh, NFL Week 18, obviously you know, it, a lot of it was merely for playoffs for most teams. A lot of teams were already out, so it didn't matter. Um, we'll go through all the games in a second, though. Um, I just want to say this: the Kansas City Chiefs suck. Man, do they suck!
Oh, they do.
Because and I get it, they want to prepare for the playoffs and rest. Well, I hope they can take that bye week and then they can suck it in the division round. That's what I hope for them. Because man, would it have been nice for the Cincinnati Bengals to make the playoffs despite everything that was going wrong for that team. And look, the Bengals don't deserve it. The Bengals defense has been trash all year. Joe Burrow literally had to carry the team through some really harsh losses and you know big time victories. So they don't really deserve it, but it would have been nice, for the sake of chaos, for Kansas City Chiefs to actually play. And of course they didn't play. They rested their starters, but let's be real. They the second team didn't even play. Usually when a team's second team is out there, or whatever team that's out there, they usually play decently enough to actually make it competitive, right? They
Yes.
didn't try yesterday, the Chiefs. So they knew exactly what they were doing. It's Bush League, it's bullshit, it's ridiculous. Um, but whatever, it is what it is. Danny Boy's dream of chaos imploded when I was watching the Chiefs obviously sucking. And look, I get it. It's the rest factor. Resting is stupid. Okay. Play your games. Back in the day, NFL teams actually played all games, right? Their
Yes.
players actually played. They didn't do this resting bullshit. Play.
Play the damn games.
So yeah, that was obviously ridiculous and stuff, but whatever. All right. I just want to get that out of my chest. Um, like I said, the Bengals don't deserve to make the playoffs, but it would have been really nice for them for chaos. gets to get in and to make everyone sweat. Because you know what? Screw everybody. You know, to all those that mock the Jets, to all those that, you know, want to celebrate how good they are, and that's cool and all. I wish you nothing but misery during the playoffs.
Because
Because if the Chiefs, they didn't want to face the Bengals. They know why they don't want to face the Bengals. Let's be real about that. So I hope that in the divisional round, you guys fall off a cliff. Bottom line, lose. Oh, and I wish the same thing for Buffalo. They're gonna go out there. They're it's funny. Who are they facing? Facing Denver, right? The Bills.
yes,
So, um, I want Bo Nix to go off because why not? And I want them to cream the Bills since Nate Moser deems it as an easy path to the playoffs, right? To the Super Bowl. That's
yes,
what he wants. He wants an easy path.
and like,
Okay.
listen,
Oh.
I think I'm like, listen, we'll talk more about picks and stuff on Friday, but
Hmm.
here's my thing. I think the Bills. I think the Broncos are probably the best chance of doing an upset.
Yeah, I
I think
agree.
they're the best chance.
Yeah, I think the Bills are going to win, but yeah, I
But
agree.
I think the Broncos are at least going to give the Bills a run for their money
Yeah, yeah.
because Bo
They got
Nix
the
has been Bo Nix has really been breaking out. He's
yeah,
been great.
yeah, and credit to Sean Payton, credit to the Broncos coaching. They've done a tremendous job all season, really growing the program and really going through its growing pains to the point where they're actually competitive and they're actually very successful. And honestly, I feel a lot better about that Jet loss. Now I know it's not necessarily the best way to look at it, but I do feel a lot better about that loss to the Broncos, now that we know how actually good they are. So yeah, it's
I agree.
um
So anyway, we got okay, we I'll share that. I just got a text. I'll share that in a second.
oh shoot, Billy Boy's got a secret text and he's not telling
Yeah,
you.
you'll find out, I promise.
Okay.
Um anyway, um okay, so let's get to scores of yesterday's game. Gonna be honest, not very not this, as T.S. Eliot once eloquently stated, Reg.
Mhm.
When the world ends, it will not end with a bang, but with a whimper.
Fair.
And I feel like that's how this NFL season has ended. Not with a bang, but with a whimper.
Mhm.
Well, would you agree or disagree with that statement?
Well, it was definitely a whimper because there's no chaos, but whatever.
Okay. We start off on Saturday. Ravens beat the Browns 35-10.
This was the most exciting part of the schedule for sure. Sorry, I can't get my words right today, but I'm still really, really pissy about the situation. But yeah, we'll start Saturday. Yeah, you said Ravens Browns.
35-10. Ravens won. Um,
That was an easy game for the Ravens, and we knew the Ravens were going to win. This was not a surprise to anybody. So the Browns stink. They play Bailey Zappi of all quarterbacks. So it was nothing. So this was easy, and of course they cruise to a 12-5 record and an AFC North title.
And they'll be playing the Steelers on Saturday night.
Hmm. Yep, Steelers who they screw themselves over again.
All right, next we got the Cincinnati Bengals beating the Pittsburgh Steelers 19-17.
How bad was Russell Wilson at the last drive? That was
Yeah.
that was one of the worst displays of football I've ever seen. And
You
shame.
you lost against a team that didn't control their own destiny, and they ended up getting eliminated because Denver won.
Yeah.
So yeah, Pittsburgh they made the playoffs, but they fizzled out. I'm gonna be honest, they fizzled out.
Yeah, look, they were one win better when it's all said and done. They're one win better than the Cincinnati Bengals.
And listen, the Bengals. Oh, Bengals also fired their defensive coordinator today. Which
They fired their defensive coordinator and offensive coordinator.
no, an offensive line coach, I think.
They fired. Well, who did the Bengals fire?
No,
This happened just now. They fired their offensive coordinator,
they
right?
did. Well, this morning I know they fired their defensive coordinator. Which
Defensive coordinator, yes.
defensive coordinator?
Defensive coordinator, yes. I read it wrong. I'm sorry, Bill. You're right. I read it wrong. Um,
I'm always right. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
no,
It's okay.
but it's true. I usually get these wrong anyway. So in any case, yes, the defensive coordinator, Anaruma, who was terrible. He was terrible this year.
Yeah, because you know what? It's the as we've been saying, folks. The Bengals offense was not the problem.
Yeah,
Joe Burrow had 9 consecutive games in which he threw over 250 yards.
yeah,
8 consecutive games where he threw at least 3 touchdowns. So,
yeah,
so Joe Burrow and the Bengals offense was not the problem.
yeah,
Not the problem. It's me.
yeah. So
Nobody.
and look, while m most of the coaching staff is coming back, you got to get it right on defense now because you owe it to Joe Burrow and the offense, who did a fantastic job this year. You owe it to them to at least, you know, have somewhat more success so that you can compete, so that you can go after a Super Bowl. Because this team offensively is ready to compete for a Super Bowl. There's no doubt about it. So
Oh,
you
absolutely.
so you, this offseason, Cincinnati, they owe it to the offense to one, find the right defensive players that could actually play defense, and to get a defensive coach that could coach them, like a real true defensive mind. And I mean, look, a lot of soul searching can happen over there. And like I said, they had no business being in any type of playoff contention whatsoever. But here we are, right?
Yep. So
Cincinnati season ends on a win, and they have officially a winning record. So that's always a good thing. It's always a good feeling to win. Um,
but you know what? I think the thing is, Reg, they just put themselves too deep into a hole.
they did. They did. Look, you can't lose early in the season and expect to make a big time playoff run. You see it with the Jets, right? The
It,
Jets fizzled out, fairly quickly in the season. It's very hard to lose a lot of games in the NFL during the regular season and expect to make the playoffs. It is very hard.
I'll
So,
tell you this.
at the end of the day, they didn't deserve it. They didn't.
You can't go 4-8 after 12 games and
Yeah.
expect at the end to control your own destiny.
Yeah.
Unless you're in a miserable division like the AFC or NFC South,
Right.
you cannot be 4-8 after 12 games and expect to control your destiny at the end of the season. So,
And then look, when it comes to help is never going to come by your side.
and
People are
listen,
going to screw you over, and teams do it on purpose. Anytime you need help from a team, they on purpose will screw you over.
Because
So
I'm like
never put yourself in a situation where you need help.
I'm sitting here thinking this, Reggie. Are you ready? I'm sitting there thinking the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, no, the Cincinnati Bengals. Your fate is congratulations, you won the game, Mazel Tov. But you, your fate is now in the hands of Aaron Rodgers, who doesn't know his ass from a hole in the ground. Sorry, Reg.
Yep.
Hey, I'm telling you all the truth. And the Chiefs that are not starting Patrick Mahomes or Travis Kelsey. So, yeah, when your fate is there, you're basically screwed.
Yeah, but it's like I said, the Chiefs didn't even try because they knew exactly what they were doing. They didn't want the Bengals to win because that's a threat, right? They would have been a massive threat in the playoffs.
Oh, they would have been.
Bengals end their season. Pittsburgh Steelers in trouble. They lost four in a row. They're in trouble. You can't look at that because that offense was not good on Saturday. It was not. You can't look at what's going on in Pittsburgh and not be concerned. They got to go on the road. They're going to face Baltimore. They got lucky that they're facing Baltimore, but you know, if I'm being real with you, that Steelers team is in trouble. And I don't think, and right now they're the line, if you're better out there, 9.5. Uh, the favorites are Baltimore. I don't like this for the Steelers. Um,
I don't like it either.
yeah,
I think Baltimore's gonna destroy them.
yeah. And Russell Wilson looks like garbage right now. Like there's a reason why Russell Wilson, you know, there's a reason why a lot of teams don't take a chance on him. There's a reason why, you know, now whatever, it's not important, but it's he's not good. He's not playing well.
Okay. So anyway, going to the Sunday slate, the Panthers beat the Falcons 44 to 38.
This game didn't really matter at the end of the day, but way to close out the season. If you're Carolina, uh, proving all the haters wrong. You know, a lot of us said they're not going to win a game at all. Well, they won five. Just saying. And
Still
then
nothing to be impressed about, but still.
no, but you know, everyone expected 1-16. That didn't happen. So, um, and of course, the Falcons, they end the season on a two-game losing streak. They had a chance to make the playoffs. They didn't.
And they also because Tampa won, so
Well, it didn't matter anyway. They lost in overtime, so you know, a loss gets them out. But you know,
the Commanders beating the Cowboys 23 to 19.
yeah, late game dramatics again from the Commanders. This time with Marcus Mariota at quarterback. At the end of the game, I think Jaden Daniels had like a sore leg, so they pulled him out, which is the right move. They honestly, I know they wanted the sixth seed, but if I'm being real with you, I think they would have been fine. I mean, the Packers ended up losing, so I think they would have gotten the sixth seed anyway.
Now they
But
have the succeed.
but my point is that they would have gotten it anyway because whether they win or lose, since the Packers lost, they would have gotten 6th seed. So I don't think playing Jane Daniels would have mattered in this situation. But I'm glad that they did. He played him for the half. Washington at the 6. And good. It's a good season. It's a good season. They faced the Buccaneers on the road. That's the NBC game. Um, on Saturday, or is it Sunday? Sunday, sorry, Sunday. Um, getting my days mixed up. Um, but good job by the Commanders, man. I mean,
Yeah.
look, they that team really is serious about winning these games. So kudos to them. Dallas ends their horrific season 7-10. The record is better than what they were, but let's be real, it's a
The
bad season.
garbage.
It's bad.
All right. The Bears beating the Packers 24-22.
They end their losing streak, and they win their only road game of the season in at Lambeau. So obviously the Packers they have nothing to be ashamed about. They were in a tough division, you know, tough conference, tough division. They're 11-6. What can you do? It's a good season. Now, of course, you wish you beat the Bears to at least give yourself a chance at the sixth seed, but whatever.
Okay. The Texans beat the Titans 23-14 and
Um,
clinched the AFC South.
yeah, but they already clinched that South. They were done with that like 3 weeks, maybe a month ago. Um, Tennessee ends their horrific season. Texans move on. The Colts and Jaguars. This is another overtime game. Colts end on a winning high note, 26-23. Getting a field goal in overtime to seal the deal. Joe Flacco um, had another solid game. 264 yards and a touchdown. Jonathan Taylor had a rushing touchdown. Um, and then, of course, that was the nail on the coffin for the Jaguars and Doug Peterson. We'll get to that in a little bit, but he was
Yes,
fired.
we will absolutely get to that. His
Yeah,
last game in Jacksonville. We'll get to that in a minute.
yeah. Bills, Patriots, the Patriots uh finding a way to win. Of course, the Bills weren't taking this game seriously. They started Mike White after they put Trubisky in for a little bit. So Josh Allen, Trubisky, and Mike White all played at quarterback. Um, They weren't serious. 23-16 final score. A miserable Gerard Mayo on the sidelines after the game. And we'll get to that in just a bit.
Yes, we'll get to that. The Patriots beat him, the Bills 23-16. Next, the Eagles beating the Giants 20-13, which ended up not being Joe Shane and Brian Dable's last game.
I wonder why.
Because listen, I know we'll probably talk about the stuff Black Monday, but I just got to say, you could tell Dable's deflecting questions. You're thinking, yeah, this guy's done. They're gonna pull the trigger. The minute the bus gets back to New York, John Mara's gonna be waiting for them, going, "All right, Joe, okay, Brian, you guys are fired. Bye." But that didn't happen. No, they probably weren't even gonna let them ride the bus. They were probably gonna go, "Guess what? Find a way home." But my stuff is out. I don't care. We're taking your stuff and burning it. Your problem. Bye. Um, but we'll talk more about this. But why on God's green earth are these two still here?
We'll talk about it in just a second.
God. Oh, you're gonna hear it all, folks. You're gonna hear it all. Don't worry.
Yeah. Eagles, just like the other top seeds across the NFL, resting their starters.
The Giants can't even beat the freaking B squad.
Yeah, it's that's how you know the team stinks.
Or heck, the C squad.
God, they couldn't even beat the practice squad they had to.
You can't even beat the freaking practice squad. This team is just disgusting.
It's a disaster, dude. It's bad.
And that's calling
It's
this a
bad.
disaster is being too kind, Reg.
Yeah.
Okay, we got the Bucks beat the Saints 27-19. We got the Broncos beating the Chiefs practice squad 38-0.
Yeah, like I said, the Chiefs weren't playing this seriously. I look, the Broncos are a good team. I really do believe that. I think the Broncos are a good team. And look, they deserve to make the playoffs. They played hard all season. But I just wish the Chiefs would have provided more chaos. That's all. But that's just me for being selfish and wanting everyone to be miserable. That's all it is. You know?
So anyway, the Chargers beat the Raiders 34-20. And Chargers go into the playoffs. The Harbaugh effect is real, folks. It's real.
Yeah. No, it is very real.
The Harbaugh effect is real. We
Yeah. The Chargers get the 5 seed. They'll face the Texans. So that's and look, I think the Chargers they're a good team. That is a powerhouse team you want to mess with, and I think they're better than Houston. We'll get to that on Friday. But yeah, but I see a big run coming from LA.
I do too, actually. Okay, next. Reg, I don't know if you're happy about this or I'm just totally just done with it. Reggie's beloved New York Jets beat the Miami Dolphins 32-20.
No, I'm very thrilled about that. I want to win. I was very happy to see Rodgers throw for almost 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. Yeah, no, it does make me happy. I do want to see that.
Because
Um, and look, for what could be his final game ever in the NFL, I think going out on a high note is very important to Rodgers. And the fact that he was able to get one to Devontae, he got his 500 touchdown on a pass to Tyler Conklin. And overall, it was just a really good day for the Jets. The Jets, they looked like they were in control the entire game, and defense actually came out, balled out. It was a good day, and we eliminated the Dolphins. So, the Dolphins can be miserable playing golf at home and whatever they want to do.
and you know what? Like here was that secret text I was receiving, Reg.
Okay.
My friend Samantha, shout out to you, Sam. She texted because she's a Jets fan, and I was texting her yesterday. I said, hey, when you get off of work, you're gonna go home and watch the Jet game. She goes, no, draft pick. I want the draft pick. And then she just texted me while we were doing this, and she goes, of course the Jets won. Listen, Sam, I'm gonna be straight up honest with you. You weren't gonna get a high draft pick.
This is not a good draft. What does she want, though? That's my
I
question.
don't know what she wants. I don't. What do you want as a Jets fan?
I want the team to improve. Like, I think we have the team right now. We have the players offensively to now look, we don't know the status of Devontae, but that doesn't matter because we still have Garrett Wilson. Um, I just don't know a high draft pick's gonna do. Like I've never been pro tank, never. The only time I was pro tank was during Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes. But even with that, like, hey, look, we had a chance to keep Sam Darnold, to have him stay as the quarterback while we get a new head coach. I was hoping not named Robert Saleh at the time. That we get a head coach, that we get the right pieces in here to help Darnold. Like there was a lot of optimism for the Jets, despite the fact that, that one season I was actually pro tank. But other than that, I've never been pro tank. I can't. I don't want my teams to lose. I don't.
I could see that, but
It's never
yeah,
a good feeling. It's never a good feeling.
it really isn't.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm through with it. Dolphins are out of the playoffs. They were going to be out anyway, but Dolphins
So
out of the playoffs. That's cool. That's exciting. Jets win at home. 3 wins at home is putrid.
so at least one of your AFC East friends shuts up now.
Yeah,
Yes, Mike Rifkin, we're talking about you.
exactly. Seahawks Rams real quick, 30-25. Jimmy Garoppolo played instead of Matthew Stafford. So that was good to see him out there. 334 for 2 touchdowns. Good to see Jimmy G out there.
He's still a thing.
Apparently so.
I didn't even know he was still a thing until yesterday. So,
Well, I knew he was on the Rams. It was just like how much of a factor. He's not really much of a factor. That's the big thing. So, um, okay.
but
So
anyway,
San Francisco and Arizona, Bill.
San Francisco and Arizona. Arizona won
Mm.
47-24.
Ends a miserable season for the 49ers and both and the Cardinals too. The Cardinals end up 8-9 though. So you gotta be if you're a Cardinals fan, you have to at least be excited that Kyler Murray actually looks good. And the Cardinals didn't necessarily suck all year.
Oh, absolutely. And you know what? I think the 49ers had a really bad case of Super Bowl hangover this year.
You can say that. You can also say that injuries kill them. And that's the big thing. I think the injuries were a major factor.
Okay. The Lions beat the Vikings in a very anticlimactic game last night.
Well, that was one of the worst games of the season for Minnesota.
I missed the Golden Globes for this. Come on.
Like, are you serious? Like
Me?
like what the hell was that, man? Yeah, like in a game where you have a chance to win the division and get yourself the number one seed, you blow it with your defense absolutely being trashed the entire time, and Sam Darnold having by far his worst game of the year. Like awful, just awful.
Like, I'm going to totally just agree with you on this. Like, this was just a terrible game. And again, I missed the Golden Globes for this, Reg. Well, I don't think that's really much of a loss.
Yeah. Jahmyr Gibbs had 3 touchdowns for the Lions. So
Good for him. Yeah, good for Jahmyr Gibbs.
yeah. He was nowhere near my fantasy teams, but whatever. But yeah, Sam Darnold had a terrible game.
He
Uh,
did. He
no
did.
touchdowns. He out of 41 attempts, he only completed 18 passes. And the offense just was non-existent. And I mean, you can give credit to the Detroit defense. That Detroit defense is depleted. They don't have anybody, and then they're all making plays.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Um. So Vikings end the regular season 14-3. They're the 5 seed. Jesus Christ. And then the Detroit Lions are 15-2, and they end up with the number one seed. The NFL, sorry, the NFC, excuse me, the NFC runs through Detroit, Michigan.
Yes.
Very excited. I'm thinking of all my Detroit friends who, you know, love the Lions. I'm thinking about them today because they when I was there, they were suffering a lot. And this was with Stafford. Um, they were suffering a lot, but I'm very happy for them. Very happy
I
that
I hope that elderly gentleman, you know who I'm talking about, the guy last year who has been a season ticket holder since 1950 something, and he basically became a fan favorite.
yeah.
I hope he's gonna be there this year.
Mhm.
I hope he's gonna be there in the playoffs. I hope he's gonna be there at the division game. Hope he's gonna be there at the NFC Championship if they make it.
Yeah.
And if the Lions make the Super Bowl, I want to see him in New Orleans. Like,
Mhm.
you give this fan his freaking due. You give him, if they make it to the Super Bowl, you better give him a luxury box with all his family. Because, like I said, I don't mind celebrity fans, but we just were. They just go way too crazy about them. Like Bradley Cooper was at the Eagle Giants game yesterday. Yeah, congratulations, Bradley. You were at a completely meaningless game. Well done. Taylor Swift is listen. Taylor Swift, that's different. She's there supporting her boyfriend. But I'm tired of seeing the media just melt over these celebrity fans. Like, what about the fans who've been there for, who have been, they haven't missed an opening day since 1956. I think those are the fans we should be paying tribute to. So I hope he's there. Okay. So, well, Reg, moving on. Today is Black Monday.
It is. It is Black Monday.
And we have so far two firings, one of head coach firings. We had one yesterday and one today. The one yesterday was Gerard Mayo from the New England Patriots. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think this was like a Houston situation from 2021. Because Pats wanted to tank, they wanted to lose so they get the number one pick. I think Gerard Mayo knew his fate. And I think he just said, you know what? I'm going to win this. And you guys fire me? Too bad. Guess what? You guys lose the number one pick. Bye. But this is just. But you know what the bad news for you is, though, Reg, as a Jets fan? I think you guys might lose out on Mike Vrabel now.
You know what? That's okay because we still have Rex in the picture.
Because
Don't you remember? We have him coming for an interview on Tuesday.
tomorrow, yeah.
So it's okay. Look, Vrabel wasn't the only option. I'm not worried about losing Vrabel. Now, of course, I wanted it, of course, but it's like we have other options.
Well, here's why you guys are going to lose it. The Pats are going to be looking for Vrabel because if you remember last year when it looked like Belichick was out the door,
Yeah,
they asked Robert Kraft, in case Belichick doesn't come back next year, who do you want as head coach? And he said Mike Vrabel.
yeah,
And then when we had the weirdest firing of all time last year, when the Titans just out of the blue fired Mike Vrabel, I'm like sitting there thinking, is Mike Vrabel is he going to New England maybe?
yeah.
Because we hadn't heard any news on Belichick at that point. And then the next day, we hear, and then the next day, I hear Belichick and the Pats parting ways. I'm like, oh, it's either going to be Vrabel or Mayo. Vrabel's going to New England. And then the next day, Patriots have hired Gerard Mayo. So I think at this point, I think Robert Kraft basically has Mike Vrabel's number on speed dial.
Yeah, I mean, look, ultimately, this is not shocking. Look, Gerard Mayo, I feel bad because you only get one shot as head coach, and he was one and done. One season and he's out. I feel bad because while I don't think this season is entirely on him, was on him that he didn't go to Drake May sooner, obviously. I didn't mind him to start the season. I didn't mind not going to May, but um, you know, they needed to change the quarterback quickly. I feel bad, but the bottom line is that the way that the Patriots lost, and the amount of games that they lost after, look, they had a really impressive win in Cincinnati to start the year. So you're thinking that this team's going to be competitive. This team became non-competitive. They regressed as the season went
They
on.
did.
That's not a good look for a coach. It's not. So I feel horrible. I wish Mayo nothing but the best. I hope he gets another opportunity, not as an assistant coach, of course. Um, but this was the right move for the Patriots. The Patriots needed to change things up. They need a new identity. You cannot waste any time. Um, you have a good quarterback that's ready to go, ready to develop. Give him a good, solid foundation, good, solid offensive coaching, and whatever you got around him. Good coaching in general. Just give him a good, solid foundation across the board and start winning. Go back to your Patriot winning ways. And ultimately, Robert Kraft, that's what he said in his statement. He's like, I want to win. You know,
Yeah, this is the first time the Patriots have had this many losses since Rod Rust in 1990.
and that's wild to think about.
For those of you who are under 30, yes, there was coaches before Bill Belichick.
Yeah, I mean, look, it really started with that Parcells era. You know, while short-lived, Bill Parcells was the main catalyst of that Patriots run. Bill Belichick obviously was the guy that ended up being the most successful coaches and all that, but it really started with Parcells. That whole run, that whole stretch of the Patriots just being absolutely tremendous. That's about 30 years or so of the Patriots being good or being at least at the very least stable. Um, yeah,
Oh, absolutely.
crazy.
Bro, the Pats, which used to be like a fierce name in the NFL and have now become the official laughingstock.
Yeah, and it's great.
As a Jets fan, I'm
For
sure you're
change,
thrilled about this.
for a change, yeah. Um, but yeah, it does seem like based on rumors, based on the fact that um Mike Vrabel, as soon as uh there was rumblings about Mayo being fired, changed his profile picture on X to the Patriots and the Super Bowl and all that stuff. Like you're getting the sense that that's going to be the case over there. So again, I'm not mad at it. The Jets have other options. Um, now, of course, the option should still be an experienced head coach. So, but it does seem like that the Patriots do have the edge in terms of the Mike Vrabel sweepstakes.
Because Kraft wanted them last year, and look what happened.
So Patriots move on from Gerard Mayo. Um, on top of that, the Jaguars fired Doug Peterson. Um,
Yes, they did.
that was expected pretty much mid-season on. The Jaguars, he was 22 and 29, I believe,
Yes.
in his total record with the Jags. Doug Peterson's a good coach. The Jaguars stink. That is a bad team. And, a change is probably necessary.
But you
They're
know what the
not
weirdest?
changing, they're not changing the GM.
Yeah, I was just
But
about to say that because I was listening to Jack Gator 9 this morning. He is pissed that they haven't fired Trent Baalke,
yeah.
which is very strange. Apparently, Baalke has like this power dynamic that he thinks he's the man because in other jobs he actually has had collided with other coaches.
Right.
That's what I've heard. So, and he said that is going to make Jacksonville the least likely destination.
Yeah. And I'm certainly with you on that. Look, I've never been a fan of, and we'll get to this when we talk about the Giants. I've never been a fan of GMs and head coaches not continuing a path together. If you're going to keep one, you got to keep the other. Otherwise, you got to blow it up. A lot of times, and look, Balky's going to have another crack at it. Fine, whatever. At some point, you have to address the entire system.
I agree.
So I'm a little shocked that's going to be the case. Um, but yeah, I've never been a fan of, GM, they part away with the GM, but they keep the head coach or vice versa. No, to me, they're a package deal.
One goes, they both go.
Exactly. You got to get a new regime with a new mindset, new attitude.
And like here's the thing. I think, Bulky, like I said, this is going to make all those the top ones who are going to be looking for coaching positions, dude. Those who are going to be looking for top coaching positions, bro, they're going to avoid Jacksonville like the plague because of Trent Bulky. I heard
Well,
their owner is sort of very hands off. Like he doesn't. I heard he doesn't even really go to a lot of the games. So
I mean, he's just a billionaire, that owns the team, stays away.
he
And
just get me the check. I'll, all I do is sign the checks. Now, Trent, you take care of this.
exactly. Um,
But no,
that's Jacksonville. Go ahead, Bill. I'm sorry.
yeah, but yeah, I don't know who the Jags are going to get because I think if they have to hear that they'll be mostly dealing with Bulky, they're going to avoid that place like the plague. Okay,
That's
so
Jacksonville.
all right, and who do we else see getting fired or mutually parting ways?
I was hoping the Giants, but
Oh yeah, you know what? Let's talk about that now, shall we? If that's okay with you, Reg.
I
Um,
don't.
what the hell were they thinking? Okay, you know what? I can kind of see both sides here. Listen,
I can't.
3 seasons. Okay, first season you make the playoffs. Good job. Other 2 seasons, team has regressed, and Joe Shane just gets into absolute stupidity with the whole Daniel Jones and then the whole Saquon Barkley thing.
Yep.
How many times do I have to say this? You know what? I dream of a day where I no longer have to say this.
Yeah.
Saquon Barkley, you should have paid him. You should have tagged Daniel Jones. And look what happened, dumbasses. You tag Saquon Barkley, you pay Daniel Jones an obnoxious amount of money. And what happens? Saquon walks. Saquon walks, and then Daniel Jones walks. So, yeah, congratulations, Joe Shane. You're an idiot. So, I don't know what the. So, I don't know what the hell is John Mara thinking. I don't know if he knows what he's doing, if he doesn't know what he's doing, or even worse, he knows what he's doing and he just doesn't care.
I think a lot of it is giving them a chance to build a team without all the leftover groceries from Gettleman. So that to me is how I view it. I don't think it's the right move, but I understand it. I get it. They have to see this through though now. Now that we know that it is going to be, the Shane and Dable experience again in New York. They have to see it through. There is no, oh well, we're just gonna um we're gonna try it out for 2 years and then he's gone. No. Go through the development. If Brian Dable is as good of a coach as he is, and Joe Shane's as good of an executive as he is, then he would, go out there, get the right players, and build a good foundational franchise. So far, they have not done that. Again, a lot of it leftover groceries, leftover dinner plate from the Gelman. They're trying to retool that now. They're trying to rebuild that. Bill, I just don't think it's the right move, but I understand.
No, I agree with you. I don't think this is a smart move, but I understand why they're doing it.
Yeah. But now
Because, like,
they have to prove it. Look, you know, Joe Shane, keep in mind, made all those draft picks in his 3 years. Haven't panned out, right?
I think, Reg, here's what I'm thinking. You ready? I'm thinking that now Joe Shane and Brian Dable can develop their own quarterback.
Yep.
They can develop their own quarterback. Shane and Dable can now develop their own quarterback, whether it's going to be Shadir Sanders, or whether it's going to be Cam Ward, or whether it's going to be the kid from Alabama, whoever it's going to be.
Yeah.
Now they can develop their own quarterback because Daniel Jones is one of those leftover groceries from the Gettleman era. So that's where I stand on that. I think they should have fired him. They should have fired them.
I would have gone with in a different direction. Look, I think you owe it to the fan base that sat through long enough. 3 years is a long time, and they have not done anything. They had one playoff appearance. They won a playoff game. That's great. But, other than that, it's been disaster after disaster after disaster, and nothing really has changed. So when do you just go out and say, you know what, we gotta get it right for the fan base?
And here are some things that Mara said in the press conference today. He had his end of year press conference. No one is more upset than I am. Oh, big statement, John. If you were upset, then Dable and Shane would be out the door.
Mm.
No one is more upset than I am. Shut up. Just shut up. Spare us your fake sympathy. Spare us. I feel he praised the fans for sticking with the team. I get your frustration. I feel your pain. But I still believe this is the right decision for us. Go, no, you don't feel our frustration, John. You sit there in your stupid little office all day and think you know what's best for us. You don't. Now, if I'm Mara, okay, Dable and Shane are staying, fine. If I'm John Mara, though, Reg, I'd be saying, listen, you guys got lucky that I decided to keep you two. But guess what? From here on in, you guys are on a short leash.
No, see through the development. If you're on a short leash, they should have fired him now.
Okay. No, but I would have said it to them. We screw this up again next year. You guys are out of a job.
No, Bill, they have to see it through. You can't fire after you start your development of another rebuild. You can't do that. And again, it's not your fault. I understand where you're getting at, but you
Dude,
can't just be
I know
like,
you probably understand this as a Jet fan. I'm getting frustrated with this team right now.
yeah, I'm just saying, Bill, I get where you're coming at. You're not wrong. But if that's the case, they need to go now. You need to jumpstart everything now. You cannot wait until they have another lackluster season on a short leash. Short leash? I don't
So
know.
the,
I just have I have a bad feeling. I have a real bad feeling about
while the New York Giants dumpster fire continues, my friends.
it. Yeah. Um,
But I think Dable's going to be on the hot seat next year. He's definitely going to be on the hot seat.
um, so that's the head coaching situation so far, at least. Um,
But anyway, getting back to the question I asked, we just talked about Brian Dable. Who can we expect to either get fired or mutually part in ways?
I think we're okay for right now.
I could potentially see Dallas and McCarthy part in ways because
I think McCarthy kept his job. I think he's gonna stay. But I don't know what contracts. I don't know what the contract's gonna look like. I don't know how Jerry Jones is gonna go about it. But I think he just kept his job.
okay,
Um,
I'm
but
hearing
I understand why that if they want to part ways that they would. Um,
I'm hearing from Jaguar Gator 9 that I don't know how true this is. I would cut them a little bit of slack because it's both of their first year that Antonio Pierce might be
it,
gone.
yeah, I think that would be incredibly unfair to Antonio Pierce.
Because
Uh,
one thing that Gator 9 brought up, saying when they would ask him, he just kept when they asked him certain questions, he kept saying no comment, no comment, no comment.
I think Antonio Pierce got a raw deal. The team wasn't built properly. They didn't have a quarterback all year, a real quarterback. Um,
And they had the morale coming in.
yeah, and that's
That's
the
the bad
thing.
part. They
Yeah,
had the morale coming in.
like the they have some good players there. You have Bowers, you know, who is one day going to be one of the best tight ends ever in the NFL history. Like, I just think that if you put in the right pieces in place and you give Antonio Pierce, like he was able to prove during his interim year, right? During his interim time, he was able to prove that he could lead a team, right? That he can successfully lead a team, that they could win games, that they could be competitive. So why not give him another shot at it? Even I can understand if you want to put him on a short leash, that's one thing. But firing him, I just don't know what that does. It continues the dysfunction. If you're Mark Davis and company, Tom Brady's obviously part of that ownership group too now. So it's never really a good look. Another coach that's fired. You know, after you just went through another whole coaching search. I would stick with Antonio Pierce for right now.
You would stick with him for right now.
But it wouldn't shock me if they decided to move on. Um,
And I'm also hearing potentially Brian Callahan from Tennessee might get the boot.
yeah, I mean, probably.
Again, another first year coach, but it's not entirely his fault. You gave him a shitty situation.
And that's another thing. I feel horrible. The only one I don't really feel bad for is Gerard Mayo because we knew that was going to be, everyone knew that was going to be a bad year, and they were not competitive at all. Like they regressed. That's not good leadership if you're regressing. Um, but the Titans were the Titans all season. Like exactly how they were when they started the season is how they ended the season. They didn't get worse. Like so, in that sense, I would feel bad for Callahan if he gets boot. That's probably not. Um, Something I would do, but I don't know. I don't know. And then of course, you know, we're speculating those moves. We're also looking at the situation in the Jets, and right now they're requesting a lot of head coaching visits. They literally just put in for Matt Nagy, Vance Joseph, um, um, Arthur Smith, the OC in Pittsburgh, and then of course Tuesday they're gonna interview Rex Ryan. Here's what Rex Ryan said on ESPN New York Radio. Um, he said, first of all, he expects that he's going to get the coaching job, which is a bold statement. Very bold statement. Hopefully, hopefully, it doesn't ruin his chances with that alone. But he also says that he will put an end to the Aaron Rodgers Country Club.
Oh, boom. What does he mean by that? Does he just say, is Aaron Rodgers out or no more cowtail to Aaron Rodgers?
He ripped the future Hall of Famer. This is ESPN, um, for skipping minicamp. And he also criticized the Jets for the abysmal leadership for condoning it. Saying clearly you have a guy that doesn't show up for mandatory minicamp, and by the way, he's your quarterback coming off an injury. I think it's an absolutely ridiculous message you send to the team. This is He was on DiPietro Rothenberg on 880 ESPN in New York City. If he comes back, things will be different. He continues. Um, it ain't going to be the country club show up whenever the hell you want to show up. This ain't going to happen. I'll just leave it at that. So, very strong words coming from Rex, already making it very clear. If Rodgers does come back again, that Woody Johnson also said after the game on Sunday, um, that it will be a decision made by the head coach and GM, regarding the Aaron Rodgers thing. But he says if Rodgers comes back, there's none of this BS going on throughout the last couple of years gonna happen.
Because
And
if
it's the right move. Look, you have to send a message. This is not Aaron Rodgers' team.
the best thing you did for this team, Aaron Rodgers, was run out with the flag.
Yeah. Well, he's done nothing. I'm just gonna flat out say it. He's done
And
nothing.
watch. I guarantee you, Aaron Rodgers was probably crying to Woody Johnson, like, no, 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 don't let Rex Ryan here. He's going to make me look bad.
He has done nothing for
And
this
if I'm
franchise.
Woody Johnson, I
And
would say, no more babying Aaron Rodgers. I would say, guess what, Aaron Rodgers? Too bad. He comes and you're still here. He's the head coach. You listen to him. And if you don't like it, bye.
and look,
Don't let the door hit you on the way out.
and look, Rodgers statistically had a good season. He did. If you look at the
We'll give
statistics,
him that.
he had a good season. I know it it didn't look great. And look, this is not his best season, but there's still something in the tank there. There is. But the problem is that it's the Aaron Rodgers show, my way or the highway. And guess what? I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it, Bill. I would prefer to move on from Rodgers, but if he comes back, Rex is correct. He cannot have this BS going on where he gets to do whatever the hell he wants and then, you know, expects the team just accept it. No.
I think
And
Rex
and
Ryan's
that
going to be.
and him saying that, Bill, I cut you off. I apologize. Him saying that basically shows I don't think he wants Rodgers.
I think Rex Ryan's going to be like the strict parent who comes in and says, guess what? No more of this shit. You either do it my way or because you know what I feel like? I feel like the rest of the Jets organization, Reg, has been like the parent who would say to like they would be like the parent who'd say to the kid, "Son, please clean your room," and they would go, "No, okay, you don't have to if you don't want to." And Rex Ryan would be like, "Clean your room," and he'd go, "No, clean your room or you're grounded." I think if Aaron Rodgers stays, I think that's what he needs. He needs the clean your room or you're grounded type parent.
But the problem is Rodgers is not going to sell for that. Rodgers has always been in a situation
Where they
where
all cater to him.
they all cater to him. Exactly. So why would you deviate from that, knowing that he's going to be your quarterback?
Can you
And
see if
that's
Aaron Rodgers, okay, if the Jets decide to bring back Rex Ryan, do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to tough it out, or do you think he's just going to go, you know what? I'm not extending my contract. I'm retiring. Goodbye.
if Rodgers is willing to
Ooh.
make adjustments to his lifestyle when it comes to football and embrace the Rex machine, let's go. Let's do it. But again, we don't know if Rex Ryan's going to be the coach. He's interviewing on Tuesday. He's very confident he's going to get the job. They're interviewing other coaches. They're trying to they have to satisfy certain NFL head coaching rules in terms of the Rooney Rule and all that stuff. They have to satisfy those before they can make an official hire. Um, but at this point, I think it's just due diligence. Trying to give coaches a chance. But ultimately, if I'm being real with you, Rex or Flores. Look, I'm accepting of the fact that it's probably going to be Vrabel going to the Patriots. That's how I see it. But I don't know if they're going to interview Brian Flores now because they have so many places, they have so many people they want to go to. Brian Flores is not on one of those lists, so
And I'm sure Brian Flores is about trying to look for head, even though he was trying to coach for the Giants a couple of years ago. I think he has a bad taste in his mouth when it comes to that shithole in East Rutherford, New Jersey.
I
Because of
think
what happened a
I
few
think
years
I,
ago.
I honestly think the Jets would be making a mistake if they don't hire Rex. I really do. Um,
But watch, after that interview, Aaron Rodgers is probably crying to Woody Johnson.
but is the relationship really that close now that I think about it?
Think about it. Got the receivers out. He got Salah fired.
Yeah.
I think Woody Johnson is bending over backwards for Aaron Rodgers.
Well, I don't think is that simple though, because there was a time where him and Rogers did butt heads a little bit. It hasn't been smooth sailing. So I don't know. I don't know if it's that. I don't know if the relationship is that simple. I don't think it's that good. I think they're on good terms. I do think that. Um, but yeah, I apologize. My phone just went off. Um, no, I do think they're on good terms. Um, I just think that they just need a change, and the change needs to start now.
I do. I think so too.
Yeah.
And I think, if they do decide to hire Rex Ryan, I think Woody Johnson's got to stand by his head coach and say, if Aaron Rodgers complains, he's got to say, listen, he's in charge. You listen to him. If not, the door's right there. But I think you're right though. I think Rex Ryan, in other words, is saying, I don't want Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, I'm gonna say this. I don't think this is a very eventful Black Monday.
No,
Because
but sometimes it doesn't have to be.
Because you know what? Because the coaches who we knew were going to get fired were fired way before today.
Right.
And I'm, of course, talking about, Robert Saleh. We said from the beginning of the year he was going to get fired.
Right.
Dennis Allen from New Orleans. We said from the beginning of the year that he was going to get fired. And look what happened. Matt Eberflus from Chicago. We said in the beginning of the year that he was going to get fired, and he got fired. So I think right now, because all the teams all the coaches who we knew were going to get fired have already been fired.
Yeah.
They've already been fired. So I don't see anymore. I see Antonio Pierce is a possibility. I see Mike McCarthy as a possibility. And I see maybe Brian Callahan as a possibility. I see maybe Brian Callahan as a possibility. But like I said, I think those are the big things we're getting today.
Yeah.
And that's where we are. Okay. Anyway, actually, first, quick Jet thing before we move on to something real quick.
Yeah.
Remember, there was that talk that Woody Johnson's son has a role in the Jets organization.
Yep. And Woody had did mention something about that. Yep.
Yeah, apparently he said, quote, I think this article is a typical smear piece. Substain. Said this to the New York Post.
Yeah, well,
No,
first of all, I'm glad that Woody Johnson finally has the nerve to actually just say that. He could have said that much sooner. Um, but it doesn't matter anymore because the public perception of the Jets is very it it's bad.
it's a shit show.
It's bad.
Nobody really stood up and put their name on anything. It's absolutely untrue. Everything was out of context. When you're losing games, it gives people the artistic license to kind of do what they want.
Yeah, but here, my thing is that he can say that. And I think he's right. I do think that it was a hit piece, all those Diana Rossini, Zach Rosenblatt specials. I think all those were hit pieces. 100% do believe that. But the problem is by you not addressing that sooner, you're giving the public a sense that part of that is true, even though we know it's not all true. So once again, that's Woody Johnson being very, very, very idiotic and just showing his incompetence as owner, being a bad owner. That's essentially what it is. Um, so he can go and say that now, but a lot of time has passed since those hit pieces started coming. You know, they
I think
started
it's a
with
little too little too late. Why didn't you respond when they first
Yeah.
started publishing them?
Joe Douglas was fired weeks ago.
I just want to say, you know what Woody Johnson's 18-year-old son's name is?
Well, there's Brick, and then
Brick.
there's
Like, who names their kid Brick?
I don't know. Maybe it's a nickname. Okay, I don't know. It doesn't.
Weird rich people naming their kids weird rich things.
Yeah,
Your name would be Brick.
yeah. In any case,
And his younger son's named Jack.
in any case, by the way, his sons have no role, which of course I knew. There was no way his son told him because of whatever Madden rating not to get these players. Like it's dumb. You know, you don't involve teenagers with these things. Um, and I'm talking about the reporters. Like you don't get the teenagers involved. You don't ever, ever, ever bring family into it too.
Nah, don't.
Like that's just not cool. Um, but again, you know, look, that's the price Woody pays because he does bring his sons into the business. So he's showing them around and seeing how it works.
But they should not have a say in this. I'm sorry. One is barely legal and the other
Well,
one is 16.
not right now, obviously. Down the
Down the
road.
road, if you want to show like, hey, this is this is what you will be do. As Mufasa said to Simba, the sun will soon set on my time and will rise with you as the new king. If you want to do that and show them the ropes, go right ahead. But they should not be in the realm of making decisions. But yeah, anyway. Yeah. So anyway, we got the two college football semifinal games this week. Oh, you know what night I'm excited for? Thursday night, baby. Notre Dame versus Penn State.
What are you most excited about? The possibility they can go to the national championship,
Yes. What was the other one?
or the fact that they could stick. I mean, what are you most excited about? That, or they can stick it up to a Big Ten opponent?
I think
One.
both because
Oh,
I am so tired of these morons who, well, if you win your conference, you're in. If you can't use your conference, you're out. We should start treating Notre Dame like Toledo, an irrelevant team that's not in a conference.
yeah.
I hope Marcus Freeman and the Notre Dame team can shut those morons up. I hope so. And then we got Ohio State and Texas on Friday, but we'll talk more about that on Friday. But
Yeah.
dude, a football team that's actually giving me hope right now.
Yep. My uncle's on the same boat as you. Like the Irish are making him super happy.
It's great. All right. Well, that is it for today. Am I right?
That is. Please follow us uh on our socials, X, Facebook. Please follow us there. Search Sports Sanity Podcast, at Insanity Real, um, for the network. Please subscribe to our channel. Hit the like button. Um, and if you want to listen to the audio version, listen to wherever you get your podcasts.
Yes, please do that. All right, guys. I'm Bill Corpus Crispy Murphy.
Danny Boy Red signing off. Um, we appreciate you. We love you. Thank you for joining.
We will see you at the end of the week. So stay safe and take care.
Bye.